It's that time of year. It's time for Giant Monster Month. Have you heard of the one with the space chicken? I'm gonna tell you about the one with the space chicken. The movie begins with a really serious guy delivering some serious cargo seriously. This helicopter door is doing whatever it wants. Next, we get debriefed on the Mars mission. Apparently, the last 6 missions have resulted in complete loss of life. That's a cheery thing to remind our astronauts of. The crew blasts off into space. I feel that I should mention the music now. In this space epic, whenever our characters are flying through the stars, we get this happy, upbeat 60s music. It totally fits the time, but feels really weird for a space exploration movie. Pretty soon, our heroes encounter a UFO. The UFO causes the ship's doctor to fall ill, and the crew race to the moon. After helping the doctor, it's moon-based fun time. Here we see the astronauts bouncing up and down outside, drinking and taking baths together. We get to hear some science mumbo-jumbo about synthesized water and the lack of atmosphere causing huge fruit, all right in the middle of our important space mission. Anyways, it's determined that the ship's doctor can't make the rest of the voyage, and he is replaced by an ornery old guy who just wants to get back to Earth. After he grumbles about the assignment for a bit, the ship is once again attacked by the UFO. The crew makes it out okay, but they discover something has latched onto the ship, and they're out of fuel. They collect samples and hitch a ride home on a rescue ship. Now we return home to Earth, and the movie becomes closer to a normal kaiju movie. The sample they collected turns out to be a space egg, which hatches in the middle of the night, releasing the giant monster Galala. Why is it called Galala? Who knows? One of the reasons I included this movie in Giant Monster Month is for Galala's design. He looks like a giant space chicken, and the movie isn't afraid to say so either. The characters even describe his footprint as similar to a chicken's. He's so goofy looking. He's got these big yellow eyes and what looks to me like a spacesuit on, with these big hands and feet, and of course a head like a chicken crossed with a fighter jet. If there's one thing that these ripoffs get right, it's monster design. Galala goes around and destroys Japan, absorbing energy as he goes. The astronaut crew is sent back to space to look for a way to stop Galala, eventually finding a substance called galanium that may stop it. I never understood why movies always do this. Why would you name a substance that could hurt Galala after the monster? That would be like calling uranium humanium. Kryptonite probably isn't the most representative mineral on the planet Krypton, so why should it share the name? Sounds like lazy writing to me. They show this map wherever Galala goes, and it doesn't make any sense. They keep adding attack sites at random and moving around Galala's position. Is he just traipsing around or what? One explanation is that he's seeking out nuclear energy to eat, but he sure takes a roundabout way of getting there. Did I mention that Galala can turn into a flaming flying ball? Well, he can. As our heroes return to Earth in the nick of time, Galala closes in on the launch site, in pursuit of nuclear food. Fighter jets hit the monster with galanium, covering him in weird soapy bubbles. Galala becomes enveloped and begins to shrink. Next, one of our astronauts goes and tries to pick up the newly formed Galala egg. These scientists are almost as inept as the ones in Reptilicus. The team learns that Galala can't be killed, so they send him on an endless journey orbiting the sun. The final shot is the rocket blasting off with its subdued cargo. This film really feels like 2 movies to me. The first act feels like a space adventure movie, with a mission to Mars, moon bases, and UFOs. Yeah, remember that? The movie ends without any explanation about the UFO, and it seems the Mars mission is at least on hiatus. I wonder if Galala was added later, as a way of adding appeal to the movie. Toho was notorious for this in the 1960s, creating several movies that featured giant monsters in only a handful of scenes. Although, this might not have been the case for the X from Outer Space, as a majority of the movie still takes place on Earth. Instead, I think that this movie is just drawing inspiration from, you guessed it, the Godzilla series, specifically 1965's Invasion of Astro Monster, that featured the same basic premise of astronauts discovering a space monster. While Astro Monster pulled off the transition, it's jarring when we transition from space to Earth in the X from Outer Space. It feels like we start an entirely new movie when the crew returns to Earth. That being said, quote-unquote both of these movies are alright in their own right. The Galala scenes are what you'd expect from a monster movie, and the space adventure makes for a cheesy B-movie. Apparently filmmakers liked the cheesiness, because in 2008, Galala makes a return in the genre spoof, The Monster X Strikes Back. Forget Gamera, maybe Galala should get his own series. Then we can patch up some of those plot holes. While the X from Outer Space is less than the sum of its parts, those individual parts are all fun for their own reasons.